Our world is full of remarkable wonders. It is simultaneously abundant but sparse, wild but fragile. The time has come for a new chapter in our fight against climate change. The planet is at stake, and the world is watching. The all-electric off-road racing series is back, where sport breaks the boundaries of what is possible on and off the track. An electrifying competition of minds and machines, where legends with their cutting-edge technology and relentless drive compete on track for victory. But they can only win together to save the world. This is more than a race. It's a call to action, a call to protect the planet, our one and only home. New horizons are calling to the brave and bold to take up the challenge and race for a better future, to make a stand, to make an impact. This is Extreme E, where legends are made and history is written.
Prepare to be aggressive.
Hyperdrive now.
The Extreme E Championship has been built on racing in the world's most extreme locations. Dunes, dust and desert. So far the championship has raced in 7 different landscapes, and for Season 3 is adding 2 more to the roster. That of Scotland and either the US or the Amazon rainforest. But what exactly goes into choosing these epic locations?
My name is Geordie Stewart and I'm Chief Explorer at Extreme E. What my role is about is going to a race site and understanding how the drivers will interact with it. They want to be exhilarated by where they're going to be racing. And that's why we want a dramatic landscape and an exciting course that challenges the drivers. And that can vary from steep descents in Saudi Arabia, to the rock garden in Greenland, to a very harsh rocky terrain in Sardinia, to a huge jump in Dorset with slidey, wet, muddy conditions. Fundamentally, entertainment is what ties it all together. We broadcast Extreme E to 194 countries and 90 broadcasters. We want to showcase the best of Extreme E and the best of the country we race in. Choosing to race without a trace is absolutely at the core of what Extreme E is all about. A crucial thing for us before we race in a location is to conduct a social economic impact assessment. And what that does is analyse the ground and the landscape we choose to race in. We only choose to race in locations where there's going to be a positive benefit to the country and to the community and no negative environmental impact. Essential to that process is engaging with governments and local communities. And that's about understanding the key climate issues, what social benefits we can bring to the local communities. Our legacy projects are part of that. Legacy projects are about us working with governments and charities to tell the climate stories that's most relevant to the countries we race in. It's about revisiting those locations, retelling those stories. In Season 2, we raced in Saudi Arabia, Sardinia, Chile and Uruguay. We revisited legacy projects in Brazil, the Amazon rainforest, the Greenland Glacier, where we raced in Season 1, and also in Dakar in Senegal. It's essential for us to not just race in locations, but continually build on those positive relationships we have with charities and communities. With Extreme E, we want to race in the most dramatic, exciting landscapes and tell local stories to a global audience.
Ahead of the first race of the 2022 season of Extreme E, the teams and drivers had the chance to give the public a close-up look at the car at the Autosport International Show at the NEC in Birmingham.
Well, it's really nice to see this car here at the show. Extreme E has taken the world by storm really over the last 2 years. In 2023, Extreme E moves into its third season. Lots of drivers here at the show that have actually been in these cars and raced them, but it is really nice to see one in the flesh. It is a massive, massive draw. I mean, look at these things.
Before we head off to our first location in Saudi Arabia, we're here at the Autosport Show to really show off Extreme E to our fans and to kick off 2023 with a bang.
The series really feels like it's getting stronger by the year.
The level of the championship is going incredibly high, and the experience of many teams is really good. So you need to put everything together in order, to be successful. It's a huge, show here in Birmingham. It's been around for many years. It's the first time back since COVID, and you can really see everybody so excited. And then to be, having this opportunity to have so much, conversations on stage and highlighting this, championship in a fantastic way. It's really a pleasure for me, and to do this with Veloce is a really fun weekend.
We are so proud to have some of the world's top off-road drivers at Extreme E, both males and females, of course. So we're delighted here at Autosport to have Katie Munnings, we have Kevin Hansen and Hedda Hossas all here this weekend.
It's my first professional series I'm a part of, and I think it's incredible that I can be a part of this series that thinks not just only about racing, but also the environment, and you can learn all this thing by going to these incredible places. No, it's my generation that's gonna experience all this, so I think it's great that I'm a part of this and learn about this. I'm looking forward to talk about Extreme E here at the show to inspire others. It's very cool to see the Extreme E car here. I think it's the first year that it's been inside here in the stadium at the Autosport Show. I think it's really exciting for people to be seeing the other alternatives now in sustainable motorsport going forward. The response to the Extreme E car has been amazing. We have so much action, we're racing in such amazing locations, and we have really brilliant overtakes on track that people don't really miss anything with our car, and I think it really provides everything that we need to be entertained from motorsport.
Hopefully the next generation of drivers, engineers, mechanics, if they really get to hear the passion from someone like Katie, to hear what it's like to operate at the top level, if they can just glean 1% of that energy and expertise, I think it puts them in a great position to build towards that goal.
Someone who has already achieved their goal of becoming a successful motorsport engineer is George Imafidon. He was at the Autosport Show to share his knowledge with the public.
Great to be here as an X44 engineer, and really to showcase the progress that we've made with this electric technology over season 1 and season 2, where we've just won the championship. And in terms of the future of technology and the next generation of technologies, what does that look like? It's about how can we have a motorsport but with as much purpose as possible, right? So it's trying to have that overlap, and I think as engineers that is very much what we want to do when we develop new technologies. So Extreme E has been an amazing platform to actually bring that to life.
This is actually the first time that Autosport had a proper showcase of electric vehicles at their show. It just shows how important electric motorsport is to really pushing at the forefront of electric car development and that rollout across the industry and across the world.
With a reunion in the UK ahead of the championship's first race in Saudi Arabia, Katie Munnings and Kevin Hansen sat down to discuss what Season 3 had in store for them.
Kevin, it's your first year where you're signed up for the full season with a team. How does that feel? That must be pretty cool.
Yeah, it feels great, and to have the stability also, of having that comfort of having a full season signed off and ready, and the ambition of the team, is really high, and that's just very motivating, and really happy to be with Molly as well. A great driver and the champion, so really looking forward to that. Obviously, you have been with my brother now for 2 years.
I have.
Going into the 3rd year.
He can't get rid of me. No, I love working with him. We always call him the faster Hansen. I'm not sure how you feel about that name.
It's the other way around. Don't even try to. How is it feeling for your 3rd season together?
you know, to me, he's such a cool guy and he's always really keen to help me. And even my development outside of Extreme E, you're helping a lot with that, with the Hansen program.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time with you guys in Sweden.
You're
it's
part
cool
of
to
the
be
family.
part of the Hansen family.
Yes.
Although we can't talk too much during race week, so I don't want you to know our team secrets.
Well, I'm there for an occasional coffee. I will come back.
Occasional coffee, yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds good.
No, I think we'll go to some incredible locations in season
Yeah.
3. What do you think? Which one are you most looking forward to?
Well, I think the new locations are always the one that excite me. There's been rumour of Brazil or Yellowstone or some different places that we haven't been before. So
Yeah.
I think they would be so cool to see. Chile will be cool as well. That track was
was
like,
so fun.
you loved that track as a rallycross driver.
Yeah.
For me, it was like I did the track walk and I'd never driven anything like that before. It was
incredible. Saudi Arabia coming up and driving on the beach for the first time.
Yeah, Saudi was like, well, it was the first race for everyone in Extreme E, so I think that had so many memories, and we've moved around a lot, and this will be a new race again, which I think is cool also for the new drivers that come in, because it's not so much of an advantage if people know the track, and it's fresh for everybody.
I think it's so fascinating with this championship that, you know, we don't only go to a location, race and never come back. We actually go there to leave a positive trace, you know, and leave a positive impact on the community there. And to follow up these journeys, you know, each year, coming back to Senegal like we were last year, seeing the mangroves have grown since we planted them and planting new ones, and in Greenland again following up on the melting of the ice sheet. You know, Extreme E is such a big purpose championship, and I think for us drivers it's really we can be proud to be able to represent something that is so important for society in the big picture.
I think it's cool because the drivers actually genuinely want to be involved with it, because it's like once in a lifetime kind of trips to experience, and it makes you feel like you're racing for something bigger than just a result.
I think working together, Extreme E just shows, you know, how big impact they are having on the motorsport community.
Yeah, well said.
Thank you. You too. It's been nice chatting again, and I mean, Saudi next up, really looking forward to that, and hope your preparations before the race goes well.
Yeah, see you on track.
See you there.
Earlier this year, motorsport lost a legend. Ken Block was more than a racer. He was a true innovator and pioneer who pushed the boundaries of what was possible in motorsports. Ken competed at the highest level of rally and rallycross, taking on the best drivers in the world and earning a place among the sport's elite. And in doing so, he changed the way we consume motorsports. He brought a new level of excitement and accessibility to the sport, making it more relatable to fans around the world. Ken also had a unique affinity with Extreme E. He was the first driver to race the Odyssey 21 in competitive motorsports at the Dakar Rally in January 2020. Ken, you will be deeply missed, but your impact on the world of motorsports will never be forgotten. Northern Sweden, the location for 2023's Race of Champions, which sees drivers from all championships including Extreme E compete on an ice track.
Race of Champions is this thing that happens once a year, and it brings together basically 2 people from 8 countries, so 16 drivers. Most of those have won a championship or in some way involved in a competitive championship, and it gives those drivers that could be just a one-trick pony kind of single discipline Formula 1 driver, for example, a chance to put themselves up against rally drivers and ice racers and drifting drivers and put them all in the mix and see who's better. So there's a lot of competitive spirits here, and it's a good place to vent.
One of the first races of the year for our drivers, the weekend was a chance to get back behind the wheel ahead of Season 3.
Out on track, you know, it's all about adapting quickly to the new cars and the track conditions, so it's actually a pretty good practice for Season 3 in Extreme E.
Anything with 4 wheels, a steering wheel, couple pedals, sliding around, it scrapes the rust off. It gets some of the, the Christmas dinner out of the system, and in that way it does get you ready. It's going to be a really heated 23.
I think it's going to be really cool. I'm super excited to join another season with Michaela. I mean, we've done 5 races together now, and I think both of us learn quite a lot about each other and what we can improve as a driver pair to become even better. So yeah, I'm looking forward, but with that said, you know, it's some very, very strong lineups from the other teams as well. So we just have to try and do our best, but of course the goal is always to win.
The weekend also presented the chance to make a very special announcement. Though Clara Anderson would be returning alongside Nasser Al-Attiyah to drive for Abt Cupra in Season 3 of Extreme E.
Being announced now that I will race for Abt Cupra alongside Nasser for Season 3 of Extreme E is just, it's just amazing. I feel so honored to work with this amazing team. We spent 2 races last year together and those went really well. So yeah, now it's the goal to just continue the momentum and keep pushing.
In Season 1 we set up an academy day at the Sardinia event and Clara was there. No one had really heard of her, to be honest, outside of Sweden. And since then her career's just taken off, making the most of the opportunity to come in as the championship reserve driver early in 22 and then obviously winning in Uruguay was such a special occasion. So to see her being announced alongside Nasser as Abt Cupra's full Season 3 driver is just really special.
It's amazing what Extreme E does for female drivers. On my side, I learned so much. Also having that male teammate, being able to learn from them, and I think we all saw the progression of all the women drivers throughout the year. So it's great to see, but also for girls like Clara to get the opportunity now, I think she's worthy for sure of a race seat, and I think having had that opportunity as a reserve driver and then stepping in last year and now, yeah, full-time seat, very excited to see how she and all the others get on.
With the Abt Cupra's epic new livery also revealed over the weekend, the Odyssey 21 had its first experience on ice, in front of a cheering crowd of spectators.
Doing this announcement also in my home country, Sweden, it's amazing, I have so many friends coming to watch this weekend and see the car and the livery, and it's super nice. I feel at home here, and I know Nasser is in the desert where he feels at home, so I think it's quite fun that we do this announcement when we are both in our home places, but we race together.
Well, being on ice with the Odyssey 21 for the first time was very special. It's the first time ever that we're doing ice drive with this car, but it was quite fun actually. I really liked it. You had to find a new driving technique to use the car to your advantage on the slippery surface. So yeah, it was fun. I'd love to try it again. I think it would be super cool to see an ice race in Extreme E. We have raced on most surfaces now with the sand, the grass, the gravel, everything. So to have a proper ice race with these cars I think would be amazing. Especially at the frozen lake and just having the waypoints far away and go sliding with everyone. I think the drivers will find it really fun and also challenging to try out the whole different surface and for the team overall to set up the cars that they work on the more slippery surface. I think it would be a good evolution of the series overall.
We've been looking into an ice race for the last 3 years at Extreme E, and actually so seeing Clara on the ice in the Extreme E car for the first time with Continental studded tyres was pretty special, and it shows it works, so we'll look even harder.
I think to have the Odyssey on ice would be extremely fun. The car has all the things that it needs to be fun to drive on ice, and with some proper tires. If we would have an ice race, I'll probably be the first one to raise my hand.
Whilst in Sweden, we caught up with the driver who calls it home and who has been part of the Extreme E Championship since the very beginning.
I'm a bit of a dreamer, and I've always been. I want to see how good I can become, but also I've really been drawn to almost impossible challenges. Behind the wheel and the sensation of driving, when you get it right, it's fantastic. Nothing else exists. It's almost like you don't exist. It's just the track and the car, like that's it. That you're on the limit, you're pushing yourself, that's a fantastic feeling.
Great job, great job. Everyone else is way behind. You got this, Timmy.
I'm Timmy Hansen. I race for Andretti United Extreme E. Obviously growing up, we went to rallycross races everywhere. For me it was normal. For me it was just how life was. I didn't have very many friends at school and stuff. My friends were all out at the races. That's where really my good life was. My father is a 14-time European champion in rallycross, so he has the most titles out of any driver in history. And my mom is also a European champion. She's the only woman who has won an international rallycross series against all the boys. So yeah, we definitely come from motorsport heritage, me and my brother. So now me and Kevin are racing together in rallycross, but against each other in Extreme E. so easy to crash in Extreme E. Like there's been so many accidents because off-road racing has never been about taking it to the absolute limit. It's been like Dakar, it's been endurance, it's been, you know, take care of your car. But Extreme E being on a track and everyone being so fast, we very quickly get to a level where like people are setting incredible times and you just have to risk more and go faster over these bumps and faster over the jumps, faster through the turns and take more risk. But I guess that's part of the fun. Extreme E, I think, is doing sport and racing in an extremely modern way. It's carbon neutral, it's gender equal. It's the first time that it's ever been completely equal between male and female behind the wheel. And it's been so interesting to me to hear what Katie has had to bring to the table. She's super fast now. If we would be able to win Extreme E together, that would be, you know, a whole different level. And that's something that I really want to do.
Brilliant job to Katie. Fantastic.
Extreme E is really like, it's taken us to all the corners of the world and it's still bringing us to new places. We get right into the nature and right into an area that's already damaged by climate change. So what Extreme E is doing is bringing awareness to these problems and trying to help the local environment, but also, you know, bringing awareness to what we can do as human beings to help the planet. That's a legacy that our generation is leaving to the next generation. Definitely having a son is affecting the way I race and why I race and why I do what I do. I want to leave the best possible world for him. I very proudly go and do Extreme E and race there because it's a good thing for the world.
As well as being one of the most exciting racing series in the world, Extreme E aims to have a positive impact on the environment and seek solutions for the areas worst affected by climate change. Central to this ambition are the Extreme E Scientific Committee, one of whom is Richard Washington. Richard is an expert on African climate and desertification, and he has recently led an expedition to discover more about the issues facing the region.
In September, October, November 2022, a team of us set out to work in partnership with the Zambian Met Department to collect the most comprehensive data sets on the onset of rains in southern Africa. We took with us around about 800 weather balloons, and we released a few of those in Oxford in preparation to train some of the crew that were coming out to join us.
Today we're having a look at all the kit that we're going to be using and just getting used to setting everything up. It's new for some of us here, so it's really exciting to be sort of getting a look at what we're going to be using in the field.
So you just hold that?
Yeah.
Press down. I'll hold it out so it doesn't fart so much. Perfect. Okay. That's got a GPS unit inside which does winds. You can derive winds from them, and then this is for temperature and humidity. We've got 5 green lights here, so we're ready to go. Let's go. This is what's seeing the antenna out there, and that can read 100 kilometers in any direction. And then you have the ground station, which then plugs into the software here, and then the software, we can see all the data coming through in real time. We've got the wind direction, which is about 2 or 3 meters per second. We've got the temperature, which is 19 degrees, which is very nice, and the pressure, which is 1,000 hectopascals. So everything's coming through perfectly. So this will be the exact same setup as we have in Zambia.
What we were trying to find out is why exactly the rains leave the Congo Basin in October and move south. Something tows them south in the summer season. And the key thing about Southern Africa and climate change is it's predicted to dry very, very heavily in the future. And the way that Southern Africa is predicted to dry is through the late arrival of those rains. But everything we know about that comes from maths and theory and computer models. Measuring the atmosphere is essential if you're going to get confidence in those projections. The team was in Zambia for 3 months. We released weather balloons every 3 hours, and the balloon takes about half an hour to prepare. It flies for about 1 hour 40, and by the time that's over, you're pretty much on to the preparation for the next one.
This is filling up balloon number 280. This has now become routine work, this.
And we were finding some very, very interesting things. there's massive differences between the weather forecast models, which are basically the same sort of tools we use for climate change, and what was actually going on in nature. And so there's something wrong in the process and the models that we want to chase down and fix. So with the Extreme E, every race has a theme, and a key theme in the Desert X-Prix has been water shortages, desertification, and so on. And what's going on and what's predicted to go on in Southern Africa is exactly that. So these sorts of insights are very useful for us for informing legacy programs. You know, how exactly can Extreme E help on the ground? What are the priorities? How are people affected? And being embedded in the sort of environment that we were is ideal for picking those sorts of future projects.